how long is slated to attend. The State Department said Secretary Rubio. Tonight, President Trump is expected to dine with Qatar's Prime Minister and is planning to travel to Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates next month. Brett.
Alex, thank you. Up next, the panel on the fallout from the latest controversy involving Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and the President standing by him. The deportation debate, the latest from that judge, that they're doing filings right now, plus President Trump's effort to broker peace. All of that.
We're getting him out, and a judge can't say, no, you have to have a trial. The trial's going to take 2 years, and we're going to have a very dangerous country if we're not allowed to do what we're entitled to do. And I want an election based on the fact that we get him out.
The president in the Oval Office talking about deportations and the efforts to get illegal immigrants out of the country. Obviously, this high-profile case with Kilmar Abrego Garcia in El Salvador. Politico writes it this way: while Dems keep talking about due process in the case of the man mistakenly deported to El Salvador, Democrats have a plan for fighting President Donald Trump over the most high-profile deportation case in recent history. Don't make it about immigration. Democrats are emphasizing due process and the rule of law, sidestepping the thornier intricacies of immigration policy that have served as a drag on the party. Now, we told you earlier in the show about the judge in the Abrego Garcia case. This is Judge Sinas. She is saying basically that the DOJ's objections, their filing today, just is not good. She's throwing all of the arguments out. She says there's willful bad faith here to refuse to comply with discovery obligations. She said there is not a sense that they are properly going after facilitating Abrego Garcia's release from custody in El Salvador. She's not convinced of what she sees as the filing from the DOJ. It says you have about an hour and 17 minutes to file something else. Or else, what's the next step? We'll see. Let's bring in our panel. Annie Linsky, White House reporter for the Wall Street Journal, Washington Post columnist, American Enterprise Institute senior fellow Mark Thiessen, and USA Today White House correspondent Francesca Chambers. All right, Mark, there's two tracks here. There's the legal track, and we're seeing that with Judge Sinas tonight, and she's saying the DOJ just didn't meet the mark in her mind. There's the appeal.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hotline, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Okay, so today's video is going to be a little bit of a mashup. Let's call it today's segment of Democrats have completely lost the plot. Democrats are off their rocker. You know, every single time you think these people can't get more unserious, they manage to up the ante, change the standard of insanity. It almost feels like we're living in a parody. But anyways, I just want to log some of the most ridiculous behavior from Democrats over the last couple of days and put it all in one clean upload. Let's go ahead and dive right into these examples of complete Democrat insanity, shall we? We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, let's first start off with this congressional toddler. That's Representative Maxwell Frost, who's now throwing a full-on sob session. Just James Comer would have let him bill the taxpayers for his precious little activism vacation to El Salvador, so he could go there with his far-left buddies to advocate on behalf of known MS-13 gang member Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Oh, you can't make this stuff up. Maxwell Frost writes on X, Jeremy Comer denied our request for an official trip to El Salvador to advocate for due process in the return of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Pretty shameful. Good thing I don't need Comer's permission to get on a plane. Yeah, you're right. You don't need his permission to get on a plane. And you know what else? The taxpayers don't need to fund your pathetic little trip. I mean, taxpayers have already had enough footing the bill for you Democrats and your southern border immigration crisis. It's cost them hundreds of billions of dollars. And now you want them to fund this? Yeah, Democrats want to slap you in the face and then kick you in the balls. That's the reality. He's whining that it's unfair and mean-spirited not to subsidize his open borders cosplay tour with federal taxpayer dollars. It's unbelievable. listen, Maxwell, taxpayers are not your sugar daddy. You don't get to hop on a plane, defend violent criminals, and then send the American people the bill. But just when you thought that was bad, it gets worse. Because while Maxwell Frost is now currently being denied for his little trip, it turns out that Chris Van Hollen's pathetic trip to El Salvador to go on a little coffee date with an MS-13 gang member, it turns out that that one was in fact funded by taxpayers.
Who did pay for this trip?
This was an officially cleared, congressional trip. They're in Yes, like every other trip.
Holy frickin' moly. That's right. You footed the bill so this bozo could go have a breakfast date in El Salvador with a literal MS-13 member. How ridiculous is that? But not just ridiculous, sad and disgraceful. That money could have gone to literally anything else. But instead, this is what Democrats are billing the taxpayers. Pathetic little PR stunts make Donald Trump look like a fascist. Unfriggin' believable. But now let's move on to the next story, and I have to be honest here. This particular story is Democrats doing the darndest things. Now this story is actually incredibly based, but I just needed an excuse to include it in one of these videos. Yeah, Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen gets pulled into oblivion. Senator Chris Van Hollen was LARPing as Secretary of Gang-led Affairs. As he was busy in El Salvador, Republican Representative Mike Hollins was busy doing something a little bit different in the halls of Congress, delivering a glorious stroll, walking up to Chris Van Hollen's Senate office, and actually altering the sign outside of his door from Maryland to El Salvador. Now, actually, I'm not exactly sure if this is a real sign, if he replaced this sign, altered the sign, or even if it's a Photoshop. I can't seem to get confirmation. Does it really matter? I don't think so. The message is what counts. And visually, I think, it really tells the story. And of course, leftward are losing their minds, as you might expect. They're calling it vandalism. But in my view, Chris Van Hollen himself is the only vandal I see. He vandalized the dignity of his office, wasted taxpayer dollars, and frankly disgraced the entire Senate by posing for selfies with a known MS-13 gang member. But anyways, now moving on to the last story, and that's Jamie Raskin going on a podcast and threatening foreign countries for supporting the Trump administration. So this moron went to a podcast and said this.
I like that idea. It's a compliment to something that we need to be doing right now, which is engaging in far more work of transnational democratic solidarity with the democratic governments and the democratic movements and people's parties of the world to try to prevent the spread of the lawlessness and the fascist chaos that's been unleashed against us. But implicit in it is the idea that if and when we come back to power, and we will, we are not going to look kindly upon people who facilitated authoritarianism in our country. So that's an assault on our Constitution and on our people.
A not so subtle threat. When we come back to power, folks, we are not going to look kindly. So let me get this straight. If a foreign country supports Trump's policies or engages positively with this administration, Raskin and his little DNC gang are going to retaliate against them when they return to power? That's not diplomacy, that's mafia talk. And it really reminds me of this clip.
He's taking these shots and he's taunting to the intelligence.
Let me tell you, you take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday of getting back at you. So even for a practical, supposedly hard-nosed businessman, he's being really dumb to do this.
It's so surprising, and there's a pattern developing. This is what the Democrats do. They don't care about democracy. They only care about power. And it's clear to me that they're totally open to abusing that power. They weaponize the DOJ. They collude with big tech and big media to slander, attack, and silence their opposition. They essentially abuse every institution that they can get their hands on. And we saw it very clearly since the moment Donald Trump got on the stage. It's been non-stop abuse of power and abuse of institutions, from the Russia hoax, the Ukraine hoax, the J6 witch hunt, indictment after indictment. And now we've got Jamie Raskin issuing literal threats in a podcast. And some people are claiming that this is a clear violation of the Logan Act, and other people are saying it's borderline treasonous. To be honest, they might have an argument. Going around threatening foreign nations in an attempt to undermine this administration and influence those nations if they're working against the Trump administration. These people are absolutely sick. But of course, we know the logic. Any abuse is justified, as long as Trump is in power, right? And actually, speaking of that, we might as well play this clip right over here. I found it quite interesting and quite telling here to Chuck Todd, Mr. Meet the Press himself, or at least he used to be, going on a podcast and saying this.
There's no doubt Trump wants some revenge. The law firm, press, whatever, but let's not get around the point. All these institutions did want to cancel Trump, did want him inoperable in mainstream public. You know, I think the biggest mistake, and I did not follow the Pied Piper on this one, which was this idea that we deplatform everybody post January 6th. It's a democracy. This is the First Amendment. And all of a sudden now you've got law firms or what's going on and all this stuff. It's like, look, that was a bad moment. That doesn't mean, look, I understand the passion of that moment, right? Yeah. Like, my God, the whole point of the Constitution is to protect minority rights, not majority rights. The whole damn thing was written to protect minority rights. And so, yeah, you may not like that speech, but speech is speech. And the decision to deplatform, get mainstream media in the air. Why? Okay. Donald Trump started his own information ecosystem. How do you like them apples now? You know, I sit here, it's like traditional media, what's happened? You did try to deplatform. It was a mistake. Somebody ought to come up and say, this was a mistake.
Yeah, he actually admitted that big tech, the media, Democrats worked together to censor and deplatform Donald Trump and other conservatives. I guess now that he's unemployed, the truth is magically slipping out. What a coincidence. Yeah, is it any surprise these people are sitting at a 20% approval rating? It's really not. This is why Donald Trump is more popular than ever, simply because these people are totally and utterly out of control. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.
Ready to lose the hat and regrow the hair? With Choose by Hims, you can regain your hair and your confidence. Our Choose are powered by clinically proven ingredients that are monoxide and naturalized. Makes you grow thicker, fuller hair in 3 to 6 months. Your treatment is 100% personalized to your hair goals and comes at an affordable price that works for your budget, so you can step out with full confidence. Hats off to Hair Growth with treatment that works for you. Start today at hims.com.
President Trump says he will not play hardball with China over tariffs, though ultimately he says Beijing has to make a deal. We'll discuss that and more with Charles Payne on the economy. Plus, access not seen in years. We have an exclusive behind-the-scenes tour of a major migrant processing center near the southern border. The Trump administration wants to make America healthy again by getting rid of some food dyes.
College Park police respond to a home in June 2024.
Oh, thank God.
All right, how you doing?
After Katherine Jensen says her ex-boyfriend attacked her minutes before they arrived.
So, what happened?
He kicked in the door. I ran. He tripped me out. Tried to get the keys from my hand of my truck.
A few moments later.
She said I kicked in the door. And why is that a problem? Because I'm in a wheelchair. And have been for 25 years.
Oh, come on.
A few moments later.
So, why didn't you call the district attorney's office? Because if the door was kicked in, he didn't kick it in.
News now at 7. A Metro Atlanta Police Department now under fire for how it investigated an alleged attack and home invasion.
So a woman says a man kicked down a door and chased her down the street. And when police find the man, he's in a wheelchair. Let's talk about it. Our story starts on January 15, 2024. A woman named Katherine Jensen is filing a sworn complaint at the College Park Police Department. Now, she's alleging her ex, Charles Reed, kicked in her door, choked her, chased her down the street in a violent home invasion.
Oh, thank God.
All right, how you doing?
After Katherine Jensen says her ex-boyfriend attacked her minutes before they arrived.
So, what happened?
He kicked in the door. I ran. He tripped me out. Tried to get the keys from my hand of my truck. What are you going to do by your head? Mm-hmm.
Now, after the interview, Katherine gave police a very, very
very detailed description.
I still remember the call. On June 15th, last year, I got a call about a lady from 411 in Fredericksburg Drive. And so basically she was like, when I got to the house, the front door was kicked in, and I think she was like hiding by the garage or something. And she comes out and she's bleeding from her arm. Her neck is bruised up and everything. She's like, my ex-boyfriend who we broke up 2 days ago just switched my home and attacked me. And then after that, I said, hey, after all that, we're still together, we get together at this address. Do you have any of this information? Gave me this name, spelled it out, gave me a description, and if you look right, ran the NCIC, did match, and then I was like, this him? She's like, yes, that's him.
Now, the man identified was Charles Green. He's 41 years old and he's a paraplegic. He's been in a wheelchair for about 25 years because of an accident he had with a teen.
Yeah, that's he said, yeah, no recollection of his good.
I definitely don't do it. Certainly worked my way into the house.
So she was able to provide us with your exact information and the description of how you look.
I truly have no idea that it's like.
But you know, the grade, your doctor, or whatever the case may be, your chiropractor or whoever it is, that shows that you've been in that 18, that you've been in that wheelchair, then that will make it hard to prove that you forced you to enter that woman's home. So if you get those documents in order, you bring those with you when you go to your first appearance, to your bond hearing, or whatever the case may be, and we'll figure it out. But as of this moment, I will have to place you under arrest.
Wow. Wow. That kind of same thing I feel about what happened to me. I'm trying to tell you, the same thing I felt. I went to jail just because I ain't want to live there and submit. Wow. That's some straight fucking bullshit.
And Charles and Sarah.
Straight fucking bullshit.
I don't have muscle control. I'm not. Oh my god.
So now this who is a total idiot is going to leave this man on the floor for a couple of minutes until a cop who has a brain comes and says, hold on, something is wrong.
I was also waiting for the paramedics to come there right next door. So I'm going to get
That's bullshit. I'm in a wheelchair, so I feel that man pain.
What's the water? How long ago? June 19th. June 19th, 15th, 9th, one of those. How long is it paralyzed? Make a phone call. Let's get him sitting upright.
So police went into the back.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, dog.
We got a guy who's obviously in a wheelchair, paraplegic, can't walk. Matter of fact, he can barely sit up. And we have a report of him kicking in a door, chasing a woman down, and choking her out. Something doesn't seem right. So this other officer challenges the arresting officer's mentality about this whole thing. Are you an idiot? Because obviously, this guy can't kick down any doors.
We do some back. So I was like, man, I don't know if this is true or not, and I can't ascertain that right now. So
why did we call the district attorney's office? Because if the door was kicked in, he didn't kick in.
He did. She did. Well, she didn't say kicking. She said, well, I can't recall if it was kicking or if that's what she said. Because all I remember was that forced entry was made. What happened?
He kicked in the door. I ran. He tripped me out. Tried to get the keys in my hand and I fell out. So you got everybody good?
So if it was kicking, and he has indeed been paralyzed and he was running to anything, I'll be found looking at his leg. I got a relative that quadriplegic. That what we see with his lower extremity, that's the play. Okay, that's legit. And if he was born in 82, that means he was shot in 2001. 80 paralyzed since 19 years.
So now these two officers go to a supervisor to tell the supervisor that, hey, we got somebody here who obviously can't walk, he's a paraplegic, and he's being accused of kicking you out the door and chasing a woman down. Now, we need you to help us out. Should we arrest this guy because he's clearly not able to have committed this crime?
Don't get it wrong. I'm stepping in, helping out a little bit. They got a quadriplegic guy up there. So he already got the right hand. Yeah. That looks funny. Yeah, but how could he? And I just want to put it out there. He walked out the wheelchair. I was like, can you raise your hands? So I'm trying to, counting down the trade and everything. I don't know if the camera's gonna catch it, but I got him on the tip of my finger. He just.
He ain't got no fucking winding. He ain't got no fucking lower core.
Yeah.
He ain't got no lower core.
That is great. I'm actually saying him, I agree. But then again, like I said, I don't know what happened between 9 months ago from now. And I don't know how much muscle mass you lose from not using your legs. But I don't know. But, that's important. It's, yeah. Why is it paralyzed for 19 years? So, okay. It's getting very good player. Yeah. Okay.
So the supervisor is dummy too. He should at least have gone
Wow.
out to look at the guy.
Wow.
Say, oh, this report
Wow. 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 Now we're going to have to pay for the stupidity of all of these assholes.
And arrest them anyway.
We got to pay for the stupidity of all these fucking people, man. This is stupid, man.
Information. So I'll just go
wow.
to the major. Unfortunately, I'll sit out the table. It's a felony warrant.
Wow. Wow.
In between you and this.
Wow.
You guys had.
Wow.
Yeah, I understand that. So,
wow.
If she made
wow.
That's going to be on her.
Wow. Wow.
Like I said, I notice your condition. I see it, but I have to do my due diligence. It's a warrant out. I have to go ahead and take it. So that's going to be up to you and the courts and your lawyers and her and then what? To establish your innocence. Innocence until proven guilty. So at this point, she said you kicked down her door. It don't look like you could kick anything, no offense, at this point in time. So you like it?
Wow. See, this is what I'm talking about. I done been through the same shit being in the wheelchair.
I can provide it in 10 minutes.
I done been through the same shit being in the wheelchair, dealing with Walmart. I ended up paying $3,000, falsely accused, and put in jail because I was filming a documentary on how racist Walmart is with their return policies and how they profile people that shop there in wheelchairs. Wow. Wow.
Right now. Give me 1 second. Actually, yeah. Give me 1 second. Let me go talk to my dad real quick.
So you got that right. The cop is now gotta go back to talk to the major because he said you gotta prove your innocence. And the guy's like, I can prove it. My handicap placard, my DMV license. Now we can call my doctor. He's seen the paperwork over. I am innocent. I've been in this wheelchair for 20 years. Now the officer says, let me go talk to the major again.
I'm so sorry, Lester. He's saying that he can prove with paper documentation that he's been in the wheelchair for that long.
Okay, but
You can still punch somebody in the wheelchair, right? I mean, that doesn't mean that he didn't do what was.
You was a straight up asshole. You was a straight up asshole. You are a straight up asshole. You need to be fucking fired. You should be fucking fired. You should be fucking fired. You don't have no consideration, you bitch. You should be fucking fired.
So I'm like, unless you just your mistress and she just really that pissed off at you that she would go through all these lengths, it's no mistaken identity. It's like
bullshit.
So I mean, he kind of forced entry, maybe a toll or make him who knows. I mean, I think just because you're in a wheelchair does.
So yeah, the supervisor believes that they had enough to arrest this guy who can't walk. So that's what they did.
He gonna sue everybody. He gonna sue everybody for disability.
There's really nothing he can do, and he's the one that's telling me because you still have an active warrant, and that warrant isn't going anywhere. I've even went so far as to reach out to the district attorney and see if there's something that I can do, but they're not answering. So, unfortunately, I take you and I can provide documentation. That's not a right there right now matter. That's going to be a later on matter. Can I talk to them? Even so, and something like the judge, and even so, you're in a wheelchair that doesn't conclusively prove that you can't force entry.
Wow.
Now, you watched that trail, but police then decided, hey, let's actually do a background check on the victim to see if she has any other incidents of filing false police reports. This is what they found.
A year before Catherine claimed Charles assaulted her, the Newton Police Department, about 30 miles away, arrested her for theft and forgery after allegedly filing a false police report claiming someone stole from her.
So now police are in some trouble. They have a man kicking out a door. They have the witness filing false police reports all over the place. So eventually they quelled up there and said, hey, what the hell's going on? This guy kicking your door? This is what she has to say.
According to this email obtained by Charles' attorney, Catherine wrote to a College Park police detective this week, asking to change her statement, writing, my mental state and physical trauma in that moment worked to confuse me. Please contact me at your convenience so I can edit the information in the report and clear the name of an innocent man. How's this impacted you?
Well, I haven't been able to leave my house in a meaningful way in 2 or 3
Come
months.
on now, me. I've been paranoid about leaving my house too.
Now, obviously, this police report was false. She gave his name, his birthday, she described him, so it wasn't like she was confused in that way. She said this was the person who was stolen from her. You would think, with such a false report that put this man through what would be hell, she would have been arrested for filing another false police report.
Nope.
We reached out to Catherine Jensen. She also did not respond, but her mother says she now acknowledges Charles did not attack her. Catherine has now been charged in this case.
Believe it or not, they did, and you see what that got this wheelchair-bound man. So we have a situation where a guy who was obviously innocent was forced to prove his innocence, or he would go to jail. And the woman eventually came clean and said, hey, I made a mistake. Now, my question to you, should this man sue the police department for all it's worth? I say yes. And number two, should this woman be charged? Now, my opinion is clear. I think he should be paid millions of dollars for his pain and suffering, and I think this woman should go to jail for filing another false police report. Now, with that being said, don't forget to like, subscribe, do like my YouTube stuff. Tell me in the comment section how you feel. If you believe she should be charged, let me know. Or, better yet, how much money do you think he should be entitled to if he wins and sues? Don't forget, my name is Nate the Lawyer, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Fucking right, she should go to fucking prison. They should go to prison. Get that man fucked over like that, yeah. Man was going to jail, they're gonna take that man to fucking jail, man. In a wheelchair. For some lying bitch. Lying on shit. What I'm talking about, man. All these bitches be lying and shit. Motherfucker be listening. You motherfuckers lying and shit.